ahead and record, and we're going to go ahead and get started with Christianity today. So, another one of your monotheistic religions, Christianity, branched out of Judaism. All right, people who were Jewish, who believed in the Torah and believed the Messiah would come. Okay, once Jesus came and proclaimed to be the Messiah, a lot of Jewish people was like, well, here's the Messiah, and they became what we call Christians. Christianity and Judaism is really different today, okay? People who are still, or still follow Judaism don't believe that Jesus was the Son of God or the Messiah, all right? Jews believe the Messiah is yet to come, while Christians believe the Messiah was a Jew named Jesus, okay? So Christianity exists because of Jesus. Jesus is the founder of Christianity. All right. Jesus began to preach in Galilee around AD 30 and attracted many followers with his teachings. Due to his popularity, religious and political leaders began to dislike him. He was sentenced by Pontius Pilate, a Roman sort of governor, to die in Jerusalem. Why did they kill Jesus? So many people were going around during this time and converting to Christianity. Christianity was spreading, and a lot of the Christians were like, we don't, view the king or the emperor at the time as our leader because Jesus is the king of all men and all that good stuff, right? Messiah, he's the main guy. So the Romans looked at this as a threat, and they eventually had Jesus killed. All right, and Jesus' teachings and the history of the early church are recorded in the New Testament. The New Testament is really the most important thing to Christians. Okay, the Old Testament, New Testament make up the Bible, but the New Testament has the teachings of Jesus recorded in there, his words and things of that nature. Christianity was spread throughout the Middle East by the Apostle Paul through the Roman Empire, through many of the ways that he could walk the roads were safe back then. And a lot of people, I don't cover Christianity all in depth here. You're going to learn more about it next year. But most people in America are familiar with Christianity because, if you ride around town or if you ride into other towns around here, what are the main churches you find? They're all Christian churches. Different denominations, of course, like Lutherans, Methodists, Baptists, Presbyterians, all Christians, okay? So you find Christian churches all throughout, you can ride by one. Probably if you go into town or anywhere, you'll see one here and there. So Christianity, most people are familiar with it, so we won't go too much into that. Now, the last religion that is a monotheistic religion is Islam. Islam formed in the early 600s, and the followers of Islam are called Muslims. Islam is founded by Muhammad. Muhammad is the prophet from Mecca who received revelations from Allah. Allah is the Arabic word for God. All right. I find this, fascinating because a lot of people don't like Islam. Lots of people don't like Islam, especially, Christians and some people who just don't understand it that well. But basically, the Christian God, the Jewish God, is the same God. They just have a different name for him. Allah is just God. When you hear a lot of the fighters or anybody who's associated with Islam are like, praise Allah, they're just saying praise God. It's just a name. It's not like he's different. Where a lot of people go, well, Muslims teaching people about Allah, they look at Allah as something different. like a different God. Like, no, they're all sort of the same God. In fact, Muslims look at Abraham, Jesus, Moses. Moses is in the Quran as prophets. They look at Jesus as a prophet, but they don't see him as the Son of God. They don't go, Jesus is real important to us because he's son. No, he was a prophet, and we should listen to some of his teachings. But Muhammad is the main and last prophet to them. And that's where you get a little bit of, the real main difference between Islam and like Christianity, or Islam and Judaism here. Muhammad is the most important person to Muslims. Are there, part of Islam, extremist, Muslims who do bad things, who give the rest of the normal Muslims a bad name. Muhammad's revelations are recorded in the Quran, okay, and it can also be spelled Koran, Quran. Quran is just the holy book of Islam. That's really all you have to know. But I do find this is the most fascinating thing about Islam. It's the 5 pillars. Being a Muslim is, I don't want to say difficult, but it's, when one of the videos that we're going to watch today is of young people, probably a little bit older than you guys, maybe freshmen or sophomores in high school. But just watch how their day is, especially during the month of Ramadan. The month of Ramadan, they have to fast from sunup to sundown. So it does take up a large part of the day. They have to pray 5 times towards Mecca. So we'll look at what they have to do. What I like about the video is the people that are doing it in the video are just kids. They're it's easy for you to relate to them. And then I have the other video of Khabib Nurmagomedov, who Khabib Nurmagomedov is a fighter in the UFC. He was the lightweight GOAT, if you would, and he beat up Conor McGregor, which made me laugh. Conor McGregor's a punk. But he will not fight during the month of Ramadan because you fast from sun up to sundown. Some fighters do it because you eat at night, and fasting is usually a part of, fighter diet or however you want to look at it. But he says, I will not fight during the month of Ramadan because it's a holy time for me. It's a very spiritual time. I find that pretty fascinating as well. But here are the 5 pillars. We'll look more in depth at the 5 pillars in some videos because I think the videos really explain it pretty well. The first one is a profession of faith. And so what Muslims have to do is, Muslims, especially when they pray, they have a statement of faith that there is one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. So you do hear that a lot. I'll show you some of the fighters at the end of their fights. They say that, I want to pray to one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. That's one thing that they say in most all of their prayers. And they believe in one God, so they're monotheistic, a monotheistic religion, all right, to believe in no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is his prophet, the messenger of Allah. That's their belief. Prayer. They must pray 5 times a day, and they must face Mecca. And what they're facing is this thing right here, which we'll look at as well. We'll look at this in another video, and it's very touristy place today, but this is the Kaaba. It's located in Mecca, and you'll see these are all Muslims. And what they do is they put on a white garb, and when a person performs the Hajj, it's a very spiritual thing. No, everyone's equal. Like if a king goes, he's a Muslim, say the king of Jordan or the president of Iran performs the Hajj, they take off their uniforms and they are equal to the poorest person. So they wear this white garb. They circle this 7 times. They kiss the stone. They, you know, from there they're supposed to sacrifice an animal, but most just pay to have it done. You'll see that in the video. But and to me, this is a real fascinating thing. It's a real spiritual experience for them. Malcolm X, if you ever remember the civil rights movement, I know you learned about it in 6th grade maybe. And Malcolm X was more militant than Martin Luther King. He was a member of the Nation of Islam. So he goes on the Hajj and he's like, wow, it changed his whole perspective. He came back and was like, Islam is a religion for people of all colors and da 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 da. And then the Nation of Islam was like, we don't like this. And they had him assassinated. So he was assassinated by the people. Now he left the Nation of Islam, and then they assassinated him. But it's a very spiritual thing, this performing the Hajj, but we'll look at that in a minute. But yes, prayer 5 times a day. So if how difficult it would be, especially if you're Muslim, and what they do is prostrate. When they pray, they roll out a mat and they get on their knees and they bow before Allah. You will see it in the video as well. One time, me and my friend Paul, we went to New York. Normally, when I go to New York City, I've been quite a few times, and when you fly into New York, I fly into Newark, New Jersey, and my friend picks me up, and I stay in New Jersey, and then I catch a train into New York. So for this one time, we stayed in Manhattan, which I don't recommend. The hotel we were in was not good. It's a little bit scary there now. But anyway, we get there and we flew right into LaGuardia. And when you look across LaGuardia, there's a bridge and an underpass. And there's all these Muslims who are underneath that underpass praying. They're all cab drivers. See, being a cab driver is a good job for a Muslim because they can pull over, especially when you look at New York, you know, LaGuardia, there's other places, there's more mosque in New York. They can stop, pray towards Mecca, know which the direction. You have to use like advanced geometry and algebra if you're just somewhere random and you got to pray 5 times a day towards Mecca. So they, you know, they know where Mecca is located. It's funny because my friend was kind of like, look at these guys, look at what they're doing. And I was like, they're not doing anything but pray and relax. And, you know, we're in a cab with a Muslim. Muhammad was his name. And I'm like, you know, let's not offend our cab driver. Because technically, you know, I mean, I kind of know, you can GPS. Like if you put on GPS, it'll show you which way to go. A lot of cab drivers will take you in circles and run up your what? Now they'll run up your bill a little bit, but you know, I mean, that's just what Muslims do. It's not like it's a bad thing. So when you see it, you're kind of like, well, they're praying. Paul, he's just like, I can't believe they let them do that over there. Yeah, it's really not a big deal. Fasting during the month of Ramadan from sunup to sundown. Now, I don't know if y'all think that's difficult, but I think the kids in the video really show you how difficult it is. You can't eat or drink during the day. So imagine you woke up, it was dark out, you eat breakfast. Then from that point on, you cannot eat till night. So you fast pretty much the whole day. I think the difficult thing is because I fast 16 hours usually. The difficult thing is you can't drink anything. That's tough. You feel dehydrated, you know, I don't know how y'all feel when you get dehydrated, but if you're dehydrated, it's very tough to want to, you know, really do anything, especially like when you get older. To give up food and drink during daylight hours of the month of Ramadan, and it's the Islamic month. They'll explain that to you a little bit better as well. Almsgiving. Almsgiving is charity. So basically, they give a percent, which is 2.5% to some sort of charity or help people. The kids in the video are like, we don't have a lot of money because we're kids, so we have to donate our time. So they volunteer to help these people. I think in a laundromat. So they help, um, do that, and you'll see that. It's a really good video in my opinion. And then of course the Hajj is the pilgrimage to Mecca. You perform a pilgrimage to Mecca at least once in your lifetime if you're able. Now, some people just aren't physically able, they couldn't afford it, or they, either have gotten old and decrepit and they can't physically go. But when you watch the videos of this, it's just, in my opinion, it's pretty amazing. Um, Pretty amazing how, uh, you know, how it all works. So if you are watching this video for the notes, I have added the videos we're going to watch into Canvas, and so I'm going to play those now. Oops, didn't mean to do that.